Learners, now in this part we shall study some commonly consumed non-dairy probiotic foods like kombucha, miso, sauerkraut, kanji, kimchi, tempeh, natto, gundruk, mesu and fermented rice or Pasiara soru. Now let us start with kombucha. Kombucha, also known as tea mushroom, tea fungus or Manchurian mushroom, is a fermented, slightly alcoholic, lightly effervescent, sweetened black or green tea drink. Kombucha is produced by fermenting tea using a symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast known as SCOBY, commonly called a mother or mushroom. The microbial populations in a SCOBY vary. The yeast component generally includes Saccharomyces cerevisiae along with other species, while the bacterial component almost always includes Glucoacetobacter xylinus to oxidize yeast produced alcohols to acetic acid and other acids. Now miso. Miso is a traditional Japanese seasoning produced by fermenting soybeans with salt and koji, the fungus Aspergillus oryzae, and sometimes rice, barley, seaweed or other ingredients. The result is a thick paste used for sauces and spreads, pickling vegetables or meats and mixing with dashi soup stock to serve as miso soup called miso shiru. Sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is finely cut raw cabbage that has been fermented by various lactic acid bacteria. It has a long shelf life and a distinctive sour flavor, both of which result from the lactic acid formed when the bacteria ferment the sugar in the cabbage leaves. The cabbage is finely shredded, layered with salt and left to ferment. Fully cured sauerkraut keeps for several months in an airtight containers stored at 15 degrees centigrade or below. Now next is kanji. Kanji is a very popular fermented drink of North India that is made from carrots and beetroot. Traditionally, the black carrots that are locally available in north are used to make the kanji recipe. That gives it a distinct flavor and color. The addition of ground mustard, which is added during the process of fermentation, brings the sharp flavors. Kimchi. Kimchi is a traditional side dish from Korea made from various vegetables, but commonly nappa cabbage and daikon radishes with various spices that have been lacto-fermented. These ingredients are then stored for months in a jar in a cool place to give a way to a fermentation process of the live good bacteria. Lacto-fermentation is a process in which foods are submerged in salt water and are fermented by lactobacillus bacteria. Fermented rice or Pasiara soru. It is prepared by adding water to cooked rice and by incubating the mixture overnight and finally adding buttermilk and salt and directly consumed. It is an early morning diet for farmers prior to going to the field. Predominant microbiota isolated from these foods include Vacicilla paramecenteroides, Lactobacillus fermentum, Lactobacillus plantarum, Enterococcus faecalis, Pediococcus acidilactic, Cerevisiae, P. cerevisiae, L. mesenteroides. Basi bhat is a similar product prepared by adding water to cooked rice and by incubating it overnight and consumed by adding salt to it. The two probiotic bacteria are isolated from Basi bhat as Bacillus and Enterococcus. Now mesu. Mesu, it is a bamboo shoot derived fermented food prepared by people of Himalaya regions of Darjeeling Hills and Sikkim. Locally available species of bamboo are used which are defoliated, chopped and pressed tightly into green bamboo hollow stems The tip of stem is covered tightly with leaves and left to ferment for 7 to 15 days. The microflora of Mesu is mainly Lactobacillus plantarum, Lactobacillus brevis and Lactobacillus pentosesus. Mesu is mostly consumed as pickle. Gundruk. Gundruk is a fermented food prepared from leaves of rayosag, mustard or cauliflower. Leaves are wilted and shredded, crushed mildly and kept for natural fermentation in earthen jars, containers, made airtight for about 7 to 10 days and sun dried for 3 to 4 days after completion of fermentation. The predominant microorganisms found as lactic acid bacteria comprising Lactobacillus leuconostoc, Pediococcus, Lactobacillus fermentum, Lactobacillus plantarum and Lactobacillus casei. It is consumed as soup or pickle. Now natto. Natto is a traditional Japanese food made from soya bean fermented with bacilli, Bacillus subtilis variety natto. Natto is made from soya beans, typically natto soya beans. The beans are washed and soaked in water for 12 to 20 hours to increase their size. Next, the soya beans are steamed for 6 hours. The beans are mixed with the bacterium Bacillus subtilis known as nattokin in Japanese. The mixture is fermented at 40 degrees centigrade for up to 24 hours. Afterwards, the natto is cooled and then aged in a refrigerator for up to 1 week to allow the development of stringiness. The next is tempeh or temph. It is a traditional soya product originating from Indonesia. The principal step in making tempeh is fermentation of soya beans, which undergo inoculation with Rhizopus species molds, a type of filamentous fungus most widely used for the production of tempeh. Typically, tempeh is harvested after 48 hours of fermentation with its distinguishable whitish color, firm texture and nutty flavor. Dear learner, in this section, we have studied some probiotic non-dairy foods like kombucha, miso, sauerkraut, kanji, kimchi, etc. Now let us conclude. Due to increasing the health benefits of probiotic food products, it has received a considerable attention in recent years among health conscious consumers. In this module, we have studied probiotic dairy and non-dairy foods, fermented and non-fermented foods, role of starter cultures and prebiotic and traditional probiotic foods. The probiotic foods can be classified as dairy based fermented foods like curds, yogurt, cheese, buttermilk, dairy based non fermented foods like probiotic ice cream, non dairy based foods like fruit and vegetable juices, purees, pulps, chunks, soya milk beverages, fermented cereal based beverages, probiotic liquids. We have also studied some commonly consumed traditional dairy based and non dairy based probiotic foods. Fermented dairy products remain at the forefront of probiotic delivery. However, the variety of non dairy foods, both fermented and non fermented nature, is available, and these products also play a significant role in delivering probiotics to humans. Generally, most probiotic beverages, in particular those with fruit and vegetable origins, are non-fermented formulations.